Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It is here, shaping our everyday lives. We are already seeing more frequent and intense torrential rain, sweltering heat, and other extreme weather events. These conditions are not just inconvenient. They create serious challenges for people who work outdoors. For gig workers, such as food delivery drivers, the stakes are especially high. Their work depends on speed and timeliness, but in extreme weather, that becomes harder and far more dangerous. Riders often struggle to deliver on time, and when they fall behind, they receive penalties from the platform. Because many are not formally employed, they lack access to basic benefits such as sick leave, rest entitlements, or occupational insurance. This is a problem that information systems currently fail to address. Delivery platforms are built around algorithms that optimize for efficiency, but those systems rarely account for extreme weather. When heat waves or storms hit, the applications continue to penalize workers for delays. At the same time, order volumes rise sharply as customers avoid going outside. In fact, a 5 degrees Celsius increase in temperature leads to almost a 10% rise in orders per hour. That means more jobs for riders, but under far more dangerous conditions. The costs are significant. Health risks from heat exposure, increased accidents, and even lower customer satisfaction when deliveries are inevitably delayed. The Harvard Business Review study also found that despite working harder during heat waves, couriers earn little additional income. On average, just $6 more across an entire summer. This starkly illustrates the imbalance in the system. Platforms and consumers gain convenience, while the burden falls on vulnerable workers. So how can this issue be solved? Both policymakers and platform managers have a role to play. They need to recognize the impact of extreme weather on gig work and design systems that support safer practices. Algorithms could be adjusted to remove penalties when riders rest during flagged weather conditions. Routes could be optimized to prioritize shaded streets or shorter distances. And jobs could be redistributed so no single courier is overloaded. Platforms could also provide cooling vans, water stations, and designated rest shelters in delivery hotspots, so couriers have safe spaces to recover during shifts. Policy reforms are equally important. Regulations should ensure that gig workers have access to insurance, fair pay, and sick leave, so they are not left exposed to financial and health risks that employees in other industries are protected from. Singapore, for example, has announced a forthcoming platform workers bill that will guarantee work injury compensation and representation rights by 2025. Vietnam experimented with a heat wave surcharge in 2022, while cities like Shanghai have introduced government relief stations with cold water, shade, and rest areas for riders. These measures recognize that extreme weather is now part of the modern working environment, and laws must adapt accordingly. We can also look to corporate and community initiatives for positive examples. In China, Meituan operates mobile vans that supply sunscreen, iced drinks, and raincoats to riders in high-risk cities. In New York, Grubhub and Joko have set up indoor rest areas, introduced occupational accident insurance, and provided riders with access to the Rapid SOS emergency app. In India, Zomato has launched the Shelter Project, offering first aid, hydration, and shaded rest points at delivery hubs. These initiatives show that simple, practical steps can protect workers while maintaining efficient service. Together, these responses demonstrate a path forward, integrating technology, regulation, and community support to create a safer and more balanced gig economy. To conclude, the rise of extreme weather presents one of the greatest challenges for gig workers. The Harvard Business Review study makes it clear. Without systemic adaptation, workers will continue to face serious health risks and financial penalties for conditions outside their control. But solutions exist. By combining platform adjustments, legislative protections, and community initiatives, it is possible to achieve a fairer balance between efficiency and worker safety. Protecting gig workers must be viewed as a shared responsibility, not only for platforms, but also for governments, consumers, and society as a whole. as the climate crisis deepens. Ensuring safe and sustainable work for delivery couriers is not just about protecting individuals. It is about strengthening the systems that underpin how cities operate and how communities access essential services. Information systems will be essential in this effort. They must adapt to climate realities, not just for efficiency, but to safeguard the people whose work keeps these systems functioning. At its core, technology should make lives easier, not harder. And in the face of climate change, that means protecting the people on the front lines of our service economy. Thanks for watching.